He picked them up. They're lovely figures, but it looks like, I think it's Funko that makes these figures. There's a huge amount of them coming.
Funko as in do the pop dolls,
As
the,
do the pop
bobbleheads.
dolls, yeah.
Now, if anyone in the world has got a Nightwing bobblehead, send it to me.
The next time we're getting Terminator, we're getting Back to the Future, we're getting Predator, but the ones that I'm excited about and the ones that I'm going to buy is Firefly.
Firefly pop heads, pop dolls.
No, they are here.
Figures.
Actual action figures. They are. If I could just scroll down.
Scrolling. Oh, Batman's cool. No, go back up. Sorry,
We'll go up. We'll go up. Don't worry. Relax.
Because there is something extremely cool that Marvel have released.
Look.
I see they're very. Oh, are these reaction ones?
They're the retro figures.
Okay, I was going to say because they look retro.
Yeah, they're nice. I like that.
Scroll.
So Matty Collector, yeah, Matty are going to be releasing the Superpowers collection, which are very much like the old '80s Superpowers figures. But
actually, it's the same. That's the same logo.
Yeah.
Logo type. What's it called? Logo type. Logo font. No. Logo face. Whatever.
Just logo. Yeah. Which of course were coming out. They're very big in the '80s and early '90s. Although they're very modern sculpts. The sculpts are very.
Mr. Pixelix.
Yes, him. Also, this I'm pretty excited about. Jetfire.
Is that Jetfire?
There's a leader class Jetfire.
It does say Jetfire, so that
which
would help.
Is really, really cool. NECA are releasing a 16-inch Joker and Batman.
Nearly as nice as Hot Toys.
Yes,
not
very
quite,
nice.
But nearly as nice.
NECA also are releasing the Aliens figures, including Bishop and Kane, which are quite kind of cool. Another line of Predators.
The Predators are lovely. The Turtles.
Playmates are releasing Retro Turtles.
I was going to say they're the original Turtles rather than the new look, which look quite good.
Which are class.
Stop. This.
A Death's Head figure.
Death's Head figure from Marvel. Now, Marvel is doing it. This is the 20th anniversary of Marvel UK, and there's an amazing thing from the original creators of Marvel UK from when they were based in England, and it's called the Revolutionary War. I think it's maybe a 10-issue or 12-issue limited series, and Death's Head is out. But as far as I'm aware, this is the first time in 20 years that there's ever been a Death's Head figure.
Okay,
and it is stunning.
That's beautiful.
It is stunning. Yes.
Big Bang Theory figures.
See, this is where my collector goes out the window because, well, maybe if you're I'm a fan of Big Bang, but not that much of a fan.
Okay, there's the Nightwing figure.
Yeah, no.
I like that. I think
it's
cool.
nice. Deathlock. Yeah. Again, they're bringing out some amazingly cool toys this year.
Okay, right, that's it. So if you go to fallenerd.com, at the very top...
The Groot figure looks stunning.
The Groot figure's cool. If you go to fallenerd.com, we have pictures for all of these.
You can start planning your spending now.
Yes, like I already have.
How many of those would you actually buy? Most?
No, to be honest with you. I'm going to avoid the Rebels figures because I decided I wasn't going to collect the Clone Wars and then collected every figure from Clone Wars.
So if you start one Rebel...
I might buy the core characters. There's 4 or 5 characters.
I know that you can't resist one of that collection there.
Which is?
The Big Bang.
Nah, I don't know. The Ghostbusters Lego is the must-have.
Yeah.
Probably the Batman animated series figures.
Mine for there'd be 2, Deathlock and Death's Head.
Deathlock, I wouldn't be too worried about. Death's Head, yes, because I remember him. He was introduced in Transformers comics many moons ago. And he hunted the Transformers.
He did,
and that's where I remember Death's Head from.
And actually, a friend of the show, as we like to say, Nick Roach, Transformers guru extraordinaire from Ireland.
Isn't that right?
He's drawing Death's Head, the one shot for Death's Head, and mark my words, there will be a resurgence of some, if not all, of those characters.
Do you think we'll ever see Death's Head in the movies? Because we've got Deathlock in the S.H.I.E.L.D. series now.
Do you know, as much as I like the character, I don't think it transfers that well because it is either Death's Head 1 is a robot, Death's Head 2 is a bioorganic cybernetic killing machine, and they are just robotic assassins. And they're, space and time-faring. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you know what? I don't think we would. They could be in another movie, someone else's movie, but they're a cult character rather than a well-known one.
What the hell? You know what? Give it to Michael Bay.
Rocket Racoon.
Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah. How about no?
Okay, right now I know obviously you're not a big Transformers fan. We have
Transformers.
Star Wars fan.
Star Wars. Yes, that's okay.
We have discussed this in the show, but it's not that you're not a big fan. You just
don't know.
Got around to it yet.
Yes, I'm just I'm just pacing myself.
Okay, Lucasfilm have very recently redesigned their website, StarWars.com, giving it a fresh new look. On the website, Star Wars Episode 7 is listed under the production section. There's also an image of a production meeting taking place. Presumably the meeting is about Episode 7, considering who's in attendance. Writer and director J.J. Abrams, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy, production designer Rick Carter, SVP of Technology Kim Library, SVP of Physical Production Jason McGitlin, and Senior Visual Effects Supervisor John Knoll. But very interestingly, is behind them. If you go to fallennerd.com, you will see this. You can see The Empire Strikes Back on the screen to the left and a wall concept art on the right. If you look at the wall concept art, the Millennium Falcon's in there.
Does it look much different?
No, it looks exactly the same.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. And it's in there. Now, does this mean the Millennium Falcon's going to be in Episode 7? No. But Lucasfilm don't drop images like this by accident.
Could you have a Star Wars movie without the Millennium Falcon?
Yes, because the Millennium Falcon's not in the prequels. Well, it pops up technically in Episode 2.
Okay, could you have a Star Wars movie set after the main 3 without the Millennium Falcon?
No.
That'd be like having no lightsabers.
It kind of would. Yeah. So, okay. Princess Leia. Now, I mean, Jay, as a big fan or not, I'm sure you have an opinion on this. Another Star Wars rumour.
Okay.
It's happening. Rebels is coming. The new Star Wars movies are coming. So it's just rumour. So Jedi News are reporting that an inside source has told them that a casting call is set to take place in Soho, London for the role of Princess Leia Organa on the February the 26th.
Is there more than one Princess Leia?
There is not.
Is it like one of the prequels where there's a stunt double?
Well, this is what we don't know. So Carrie Fisher has pretty much confirmed that she's going to be in the movie. The most recent being that in January she told TV Guide she would begin working in March or April. So what we're thinking is that if it'll either feature a flashback or one of the prequel or spin-off movies that we're hearing so much about, that they're looking to entirely recast a younger Princess Leia, a la somebody that's basically going to be Carrie Fisher 30 years ago.
Which kind of makes sense if they use a flashback, I suppose.
Yeah, now, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how I feel about this because Carrie Fisher as an actress is very, very unique, and I don't know who they could ever get to pretend to be Carrie Fisher. I can't see anybody else being that character.
Because she was Princess Leia 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That would make it more difficult to do that.
I just can't see how they could make somebody else Princess Leia.
Maybe it's a swerve and it won't really be Princess Leia. There's that music. That music comes on every week.
It does.
Do we know what it is yet?
We don't.
I know what it is. It's people telling us it's now 25 to 12. It's the alarm you set.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. The only thing I can think of if they're looking for a younger Princess Leia is flashbacks.
It has to be flashbacks. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the only
and I
way
could
it
understand
can work.
why, because even with today's technology, splicing... I mean, look at Tron 2, where they used original footage of what's-his-face to make him look younger. You know who I mean?
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
You could still tell it was CGI quite badly as well.
Yes.
And they probably don't want to do that in Star Wars.
No, I think that would be a mistake.
And there probably isn't enough makeup to make Carrie Fisher look 30 years younger.
Yeah, and Carrie Fisher, like Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill, is a very unique actor.
Yeah.
You know, there's not...
I mean, they could just get a younger model from behind and stick the croissants on the head.
Wow, you need to watch Star Wars. Yeah, okay, I can sort of see where you're coming from.
But no, I the only thing I can think is flashbacks, and flashbacks in movies don't always gel well, especially with fans, because it's not the original actress.
Yes, and I think anybody else in that role is going to be very, very hard to accept, no matter how good an actress they are.
Though, and I don't know who they were, Natalie Portman and other woman in the prequels resembled each other quite a lot.
What other woman?
One of the prequels, Natalie Portman was in it as a queen or an empress.
Yes.
And there was another girl that was her stunt double in the movie itself, like her decoy.
Oh yeah, but she had a lot of handmaidens, and they all kind of looked like her.
But one of them was specifically Keira Knightley.
Yes.
Was it Keira Knightley? And they actually do resemble each other enough that you could be fooled. If they got someone who resembles Carrie Fisher enough, maybe it'll work.
I don't.
But then all you have to do is pick up the original movies, watch it, and go, well, she looks nothing like her 30 years ago.
I personally think if you're going to do a younger version, and they kind of did it... Well, I suppose, you know, in fairness, we accepted... I was going to say we accepted Ewan McGregor as a younger Alec Guinness, but we hadn't seen the young Alec Guinness, so
that's
it was
the
easier
difference.
to accept that.
Yeah.
I think it would work better if they're going to do this, to do it animated.
Yeah.
Because with animation, you allow for that...
Or go for a 12-year-old Carrie Fisher, where you haven't seen anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Much, much younger than
or,
we've seen her.
you know, my idea is still on the table, that just from behind in the croissants.
With the croissants.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So glad that
I'm helping. I'm running for my life.
We're getting excited. I was a little resistant to this, but I kind of find myself getting a little bit excited about Gotham.
It's sounding more and more good. Let's just not call it Gotham and call it Bloodhaven. No, that's still Batman. Something that isn't Batman related, because, well, they are definitely, they're doing what Days of X-Men First Class did, they're definitely screwing up the timeline here.
Yeah.
But I don't care anymore.
Okay, Donald Logue, who we know, of course, has been cast as Harvey Bullock, who is kind of, would you say he was Jim Gordon's right-hand man? He kind of is. He kind of is, right? He's been cast in it in Gotham, and he's been talking a wee bit about the sort of the tone and what we can expect from the series. And it's kind of exciting, but at the same time it could be cliche, and it sounds like
a fine line.
We've done it before.
You know, in a way, it does, and I don't know if this is a good analogy, but it sounds like Smallville at night. You know, a darker version of Smallville, especially with it's an amazing, deep and wide cast.
Mm-hmm.
But could that be a problem as well?
Well, let's see what he says. He talks about, right, he says, my kids watched the animated series, and I remember listening to it over the speaker on road trips up to Oregon. I would hear it. And it's that tricky thing where I'm not that guy. Of course, he's talking about Harvey Bullock as Bullock appears in the original Batman animated series. You know, I don't look visually like that guy in the cartoon. Then there's that weird thing where I don't want to take somebody's choice from the cartoon and match it. I want to create a character no different from Lee Torek in Sons of Anarchy, or King Horrick from Mysteries Vikings, or Hank Dolworth in Terriers. A little bit of name dropping. Okay, you've been in all these shows, well done.
The biggest difference there is they were original shows with no predefined, pre-existing characters. They're
all uniquely different scenarios, and I don't want to feel forced to do an impersonation of something else, which is difficult to keep up difficult thing to keep up over the course of a longer series, so we'd have to have those talks. He also talked about the setting of the series. What I love about Gotham that I can say so far is that it carries this incredible world that for me, you can step into things that almost feel like the Roaring Twenties, and then there's this other really kind of heavy Blade Runner vibe floating around. It has this anachronistic element to it where it feels like it's either New York in the 70s, or it kind of exists independently of time and space in a way that you can dip into all these different genres. I'm excited. There's a couple of examples of modern technology, but maybe an antiquated version of it that gave me a little bit of a sense of it's certainly not the 50s or the 60s. No one's making a joke about how there's no way you can press a telephone button and have a piece of paper show up in another machine. There's an acceptance of a certain technological reality, but it's not high-tech and it's not futuristic by any means. To me, this sounds like Batman the Animated Series. It's lost in time. Kind of feel, because Batman the Animated Series, you know what I mean, like he was flying around in his Batwing, he had all this futuristic tech, but at the same time it looked like it was set in the 20s.
And that actually is, I don't know if he's painting himself into a corner there. He wants to create the character to be something new, but he is referencing either Batman the Animated Series or the comics.
Yeah, but I mean, is he doing this,
or is it the script?
Where the show's going, which I think is the way the show's going to go.
I was actually hoping that the show was going to be much more set in a
real world.
Almost real world.
See, to be honest with you, I was sort of thinking that this would serve as a prequel to Batman Begins. I kind of got that vibe from it.
Or a prequel to the current Batman.
Yeah, to the Justice League.
The Batfleck.
He also touched on the conflicts that will be at the core of the series, which will also involve his partner who is mentoring, Jim Gordon. There's a kind of an ambiguous line between good and bad here. We have to let certain bad guys do certain things in order for the greater good, for the machine to keep working. And then someone comes in who's like, no, I have a much more black and white view. Jim Gordon, of course, and I'm not into that notion of more relativism. There's right and there's wrong, and what is the law? The law is a platonic form of truth that floats in space, that is neither fixed. It is something that's this arbitrary thing where it's like the law is me and you right now in this car, whatever we determine, that's the law, and that's the kind of thing we'd be going for the conflict in this show. So obviously he's talking about, now interestingly, they've referred to him here as a mentor to Jim Gordon. I never took Bullock as being Jim Gordon's mentor.
He wasn't in the comics.
Yeah.
He was, well, actually, in the comics, depending on which comics, he was of an age, but potentially Gordon just rose through the ranks better because he was a better cop.
Mm-hmm.
Bullock was always portrayed as a good guy at heart, but in fact, sometimes not even that. He was a bent cop.
Yeah.
But definitely someone who flouted the rules.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about him is, because we talked last week about how Flass in Batman Begins kind of resembled Bullock.
Yeah.
So did Eckhart in the 1989. Because whenever Eckhart first came into it, I assumed he was Bullock.
There's always someone who looks a bit like what you would think and acts a bit like what you would think.
Yeah.
In this case, it actually is Bullock, and he looks nothing like you'd expect.
And he doesn't look like Bullock.
I love the way they've done that.
Yeah. Now, sticking with Gotham, Warner Bros. TV and Fox have just announced that Jada Pinkett Smith, Mrs. Will Smith, will be joining the cast as the gangster Fish Mooney, described as a sadistic gangster boss and nightclub owner. Fish Mooney's got the street smarts and an extrasensory ability to read people like an open book. Imposing and hot-headed, she's not one to be crossed. Now, while as far as I know, Fish Mooney doesn't exist in the comics.
Not like I can't. I was trying to think of a correlation. Do you know what? There's lots of correlations, but not one character that sticks out as someone who's permanent in the comics.
Yeah, I can't think of her in the comics. But what we do know is that Oswald Cobblepot Penguin, because we found out a couple of weeks ago that he was going to be in the series.